dear friends, myself Professor Khodde Rishikesh and you are watching BSc Botany Studies Classes channel. So here in this video lecture we will be discussing about the second part of the osmosis chapter. In first part we have discussed about the definition. There are 5 to 6 different types of definition. With the help of one example we have seen how much definitions can be created and how to remember this definition mainly, as well as we have seen the types of different solution, hypertonic, hypotonic and isotonic solution, how to differentiate between this solution, as well as exoosmosis and endoosmosis terminology we have seen. So in today's lecture we will be discussing the remaining portion of the osmosis chapter. So without wasting too much time, let's get started with the second part of the osmosis. So friends, the screen is presenting you the syllabus where we have seen the first part of the osmosis chapter. The remaining part includes the osmotic pressure, turgor pressure and wall pressure, as well as the significance of this osmosis, or we can say the importance of this osmosis in plant life. As this botany lecture, osmosis plays important role in plant life. So first of all we will discuss step by step. So mainly I would like to tell you, yesterday we have discussed one terminology, that is a water potential. Water potential is depicted as a sign of this psi and W under the sign of the psi. This is a psi and we write W at the bottom of the psi. So water potential is very important, where yesterday we have seen that the water generally moves, water generally flow from high water potential to the low water potential. So what is this water potential? Water potential means the capacity of water to dissolve anything inside it. Means what? The pure water have high water potential, the sea water have less water potential. If water potential is high, then that solution have capacity to dissolve many things inside it. This water potential is dependent upon mainly the solute potential first of all, then we have pressure potential, then we have gravitational potential. So this water potential is dependent upon these three terminologies. Yesterday we discussed about how solute are affecting upon the water potential of the solution. So yesterday only we have discussed about this thing. Today I am only just highlighting the sign of the solute potential. The gravitational potential is something which you cannot control, because whatever this mother earth is having gravitation, the gravitation value is 9.8 meter per second square. This value always remain constant, so you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to take tension about it. Mainly this gravitational potential is negligible. Negligible means you don't have to consider or don't have to take worry, don't worry about it. You have to just remember that there is a gravitational potential, and mainly the remaining portion is the pressure potential. So what is this pressure potential is mainly important to discuss here. This pressure potential includes many subterminologies such as osmotic pressure, turgor pressure, wall pressure. So in this chapter we have these three terminologies to discuss. Why I have highlighted this is very important. In your textbook you will not find this. And this is something which is very important to understand, or very important to know by the student, because if you understand this, then only you can go to study this. This is very basic, that water potential is dependent upon these three things. So out of these three things we have pressure potential, which is containing different subterminologies such as osmotic pressure, turgor pressure and wall pressure. So we will discuss one by one what these terminologies are telling to us. So friends, I have written a title here, that is osmotic pressure. So if you consider an example of any cell, if you have this cell will show the movement of water either from outside to inside. Please listen carefully, it is very important. Either water can move from outside to inside, means by this direction, or there can be a phenomenon that water can move from inside to outside also. So there are two possibilities. Water can move from outside to inside or from inside to outside water can go. So water is moving. So the movement of water or amount of water, how much amount of water? Amount of water, please listen carefully. Amount of water that can enter inside the cell is depicted by the osmotic pressure. What is osmotic pressure? The amount of water that can enter inside the cell is represented by the value of osmotic pressure. So the osmotic pressure depends upon which is very important to know here, the solute concentration. Osmotic pressure is always dependent upon solute concentration. This is very important to remember here. In osmotic, we are discussing about osmotic pressure, where we have taken the example of seed. We said that water can go from outside to inside or water can go from inside to outside. Okay. But the amount of water that can enter inside the cell is studied by the osmotic pressure phenomenon. And this osmotic pressure is dependent upon the concentration of solute which are present inside the cell. Concentration of solute inside the cell. So I will make it easier. If you have, suppose I will just wipe out something. If suppose we have two cells A and B, this cell and this cell. Please listen carefully, which is very interesting. This A cell contains solute particle 5 and B cell contains solute particle 10. So here are 10 solute particles. So tell me, or I will tell you now, the osmotic pressure. So the osmotic pressure of cell B is more as compared to the osmotic pressure of cell A. Why or how we can say this? Because cell B contain more solute as compared to the cell A. So the osmotic pressure is dependent upon the concentration of solute, which is you need to remember. So the osmotic pressure tells us the amount of water which can enter inside the cell, which is dependent upon the solute concentration of the cell. So we will explain this with another example. You have to remember these points which I am telling you here. You have this cell and you have three different solutions. This solution is hypotonic solution, this solution is isotonic solution, and this solution is hypertonic solution. You have three different solutions. If you place this cell inside the hypotonic solution, then what will happen is dependent upon the number of solute. If you place the cell inside the hypotonic solution or isotonic solution or hypertonic solution, the movement of water is dependent upon the number of solute molecules which are present inside the cell. If cell do not contain any kind of solute, please listen carefully. If cell do not contain any solute inside it, then the osmotic pressure of the cell is 0. If cell contain many solute molecule inside the cell, then the osmotic pressure of the cell will be very high. If you place the cell inside this hypotonic solution, if cell contains somewhat solute molecules, doesn't matter how many solute molecule it contains, the water from the surrounding will definitely going to enter inside the cell. Please listen carefully. water from the surrounding is definitely going to enter inside the cell. This phenomenon we call as endoosmosis. This phenomenon we call as endoosmosis, means movement of water from outside to inside. Okay, but the amount of water which is going to enter inside the cell, listen carefully, amount of water which is going to enter inside the cell is determined by the osmotic pressure of the cell. Okay, and osmotic pressure is dependent upon the solute concentration. It is one thing, and another thing is amount of water which can be enter inside the cell can be measured by using the osmotic pressure terminology. So you just have to remember whatever I am trying to tell you here. I have made much simplification to make you understand this complex concept. So you have hypotonic solution, you are placing your cell inside this solution. Water from hypotonic solution will enter inside the cell. Amount of water which enter inside the cell is determined by the osmotic pressure, which is I am telling you here. Okay, it is one thing. Once water enter inside the cell, this is your cell, and water now entered inside the cell. The cell is full of water. There is no space remaining inside the cell. All space are covered by the water only. So whatever water is present inside the cell now, this water is pushing the layer of the cell to the outside, means water which is present inside the cell is making somewhat pressure inside the cell. After filling air into the tire, the tire get very turgid. Likewise, the cell when absorb the water get very much turgid. Due to the osmosis, water has entered inside the cell and cell got turgid. This turgidity is giving another phenomenon, that is turgor pressure. Osmotic pressure is responsible for turgor pressure, you can say. Because of osmotic pressure, water entered inside the cell. Once water entered inside the cell, it has created the turgor pressure. Okay, so it is as easy to remember here what I am trying to tell you. The turgor pressure is now built up inside the cell. Every plant cell consists cell wall, which is made up of cellulose. Every plant cell consists cell wall which is made up of cellulose, and which is something elastic in nature, which can expand, which can contract, but it remains on its size only, or on its place only. So when water come inside the cell, it creates the turgor pressure. This turgor pressure pushes the cell wall towards the outside, which is very obvious and common thing. The cell wall of the cell try to maintain its position and pushes the turgor pressure inside. This turgor pressure is pushing the cell wall outside, and cell wall is trying to maintain its position. So whatever pressure is created in this cell wall is known as wall pressure. So wall pressure is very easy to remember here. Wall pressure is generally, which you can write as, this pressure is created by the cell wall to maintain its position to resist the turgor pressure. So we have osmotic pressure, which is responsible for turgor pressure and which is responsible for wall pressure. So finally the wall pressure is created because of the turgor pressure. This turgor pressure is created by the osmotic pressure. So I have tried to highlight three different pressure terminologies which are very essential at BSc, not only BSc, at competitive exam level, where you will definitely remember after watching this lecture, I am sure. So this was regarding the pressure terminologies in this chapter. Now let's discuss about the importance of this osmosis in plant life. Why we are studying about this? Okay, so friends, I have written here a title, that is importance of osmosis to the plant life. At which area this osmosis plays important role in plant life is very essential to understand. So please listen carefully. Plant require water for normal development. The roots of the plant are spread along the ground in search of water. Plant require water for, not only plant, everyone require water for normal growth and development. Plant have special system that we call as the roots. which travels at very large distance in search of water. So if you look at the plant, if you uproot any plant, you will find the root portion are much more bigger than the shoot portion. So it is very interesting to study that the root are in search of water, travels very long distance, but water from the soil enter inside the root by the process of osmosis only. For that, what plant roots do is very essential to understand. Plant roots are very intelligent. What these plant roots do? If water is present around this plant root, for example, if water is present around this plant root, this water have somewhat solute inside it. So the water inside the root and water in soil must shows a difference in their water potential. If the root water potential is low as compared to the water potential of the water in soil, if the water in root have less water potential as compared to the water which is present in soil, then and then only water can move from soil towards the inside plant roots, which is something you need to write here, because water always flow from high water potential to the low water potential. So for that, plant roots decreases their water potential inside the root, so that the water which is present in soil will, as compared to the water which is present inside the root, shows water potential difference, and then only water can flow from soil to the root. Otherwise, what will happen? If water potential of the water inside the root is more as compared to the water potential of the water which is present in soil, then water will flow from plant to the soil, but it does not happen. Otherwise, plant will die. So water has to flow from the soil to the plant root. For that, why I am telling you this, you have to write this line in your answer, where you have to write that the water potential of the soil water must be more as compared to the water potential of the water which is present inside the root. Then and then only the water from soil can travel inside the root. So it was the first importance of osmosis in plant life, that is for absorption of water. Absorption of water inside the plant root. Once plant absorb the water, then that water flow through the xylem and reaches to the various cells, such as in fruit cells, flower cells, or root cells, or leaf cells. So the water flow inside the xylem takes place by the diffusion, or as already we have discussed, but the water movement between two cells, please listen carefully, when water movement takes place between two cells, is generally takes place by the process of osmosis only. Okay, in transpiration what happen? Water flow from the root towards the leaf and exit in atmosphere in the form of water vapor. So whatever movement of water takes place inside the plant takes place by the diffusion as well as by the osmosis phenomenon. So here we have discussed about the importance of osmosis in plant life, where osmosis plays very essential role to absorb the water from soil inside the plant. What happen when you try to plant your seed at the region of which is a seawater region? When you try to plant or grow the plant around the seawater, what happens actually is that the water potential of the seawater is very less as compared to the water potential of the water inside the root, so that the water from the plant root flows out into the seawater, so the plant definitely dies. But generally we plant our trees in the area where water availability is there, which water generally plant can absorb. So you have to remember the terminologies which I have tried to explain here. So if you have any query, any problem, feel free to comment in comment section, which will help me to improve the lecture series. So thank you for your time, and if you enjoy this video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the channel. We will meet in our next part. Till take care, bye.